How are you?
I'm doing well, Pam. Thank you so much for having Wholesome Wave Georgia on today. We're really excited to be here.
I am very excited to have you. So, thank you so much for saying yes to the inaugural Coffee Connections. For everyone here listening, the Coffee Connections show is about connecting and inspiring Atlantans by learning about other amazing Atlantans and organizations and their stories who are making a difference in our area. And our very first guest, Will Sellers, actually not only is contributing to making a difference in the metro Atlanta area, but for the whole entire state as well. So, welcome, Will, and Wholesome Wave, Georgia. Thank you so much for joining us.
We're so excited to be here and really honored to be on the inaugural show. So this is really exciting.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, let's get started, if we will. I know we've talked a little bit, so I have some questions from our conversation,
Sure.
as well as from noodling on the website, researching. So tell me a little bit, if you don't mind, sharing your journey that led you to become the executive director of Wholesome Wave, Georgia.
Pam, thank you again. My journey started with volunteering. I had the opportunity to serve on the board of directors for Wholesome Wave Georgia in 2015 and 2016, so almost about 10 years ago now. And started volunteering with another organization here in Atlanta, Foodwell Alliance, serving the five most populous counties in the state of Georgia: Fulton, Cobb, DeKalb, Gwinnett, and Clayton County. Really focused on our urban growers, so community gardeners, our urban farmers, creating a lot of space, building community around just the environments that are here naturally to grow fresh, healthy, locally grown food. And so that opportunity, volunteering, transformed into a full-time role. And from there, just learned a ton about the region, learned a ton about the state. And when the opportunity came up to put my hat in the ring for the role at Wholesome Wave, Georgia, I jumped at it. We received over 200 plus submissions for that role. So just really fortunate to work with an engaged, thoughtful board of directors and a motivated, passionate team to do the work that we do all across the state of Georgia to make fresh, healthy, locally grown food available and affordable.
Yeah, and we're glad you're doing it. We are glad you are doing it. What inspired you to get involved? I know you said you were volunteering, but to start that volunteering, working around food insecurity and access to healthy food choices.
Yes, I'm from the southern part of the state, down in
Mhm.
Moultrie, Colquitt County, Georgia. So
I know
all the
it.
way down near the Florida line, only one county away from the Florida line there in Moultrie. And so I grew up around agriculture. My mother worked for a long time, ended up retiring from Abraham Baldwin Agricultural College. My father went to Fort Valley State College, which is now Fort Valley State University, the other ag school kind of within the state of Georgia. So again, always around it, always present in my life. I think the connection for me really revolves around helping people, helping others. And that's something that's just always been important to me as a person and really important as in the history of our family. So it was a natural fit. It gave me a place to contribute and just some amazing, phenomenal Georgians and other individuals to work with and serve with.
There really are some amazing all over the state of Georgia, but particularly I think in the farming community,
Mhm.
the farmers are really connected to their community. So they what I've noticed, because I, like you, grew up in the South. I'm in Tipton, neighboring county, and I went to ABAC where your mom worked. So, um,
Small world.
it's very small world indeed. And what I've noticed through all my years is that the farmers, while they have their community of farmers, they also reach out to the community as a whole. They're very connected to the other individuals, whether it is who they're serving from the food that they're growing, whether it is employing people to work on their farms. It's definitely a natural connection of serving others in the farming community, and everyone needs to eat. It's important. And good
It
food.
is. I mean, it's one of those kind of core things: food, clothing, and shelter. Something also with Wholesome Wave Georgia that's not exactly obvious, and I know we'll get into this over the course of the interview, is that we have a dual mission. Not only are we supporting families across the state of Georgia, but we also support our small independent farmers through the programming that we offer in our food insecurity work and also our food as medicine work as well. In both programs, the provider, the producer of the fresh, healthy, locally grown produce is our small independent farmer. So we're really passionate to do that work and we're helping to do our part.
Well, this is a great segue into some of the specific programs that Wholesome Wave Georgia offers. I know there's the Fresh for Less, SNAP,
Right.
Food for Health.
You got them. You
And
got
is
me. You
there
got all
another one?
three. No, no, no. You
There's
got all
three. Okay.
three. You got all
So,
three. Wholesome Wave Georgia Fresh for Less, Wholesome Wave Georgia Food for Health, and then Wholesome Wave Georgia SNAP Connection. And I'll start talking about SNAP because that's not a term that most Americans know. Many of us know the old food stamp program, Pam, and the old food stamp program now goes by a different name, a more modern name, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, AKA SNAP. We love acronyms here in America. And so with the SNAP program, the old food stamp program, what makes Wholesome Wave Georgia really unique, standing out in a robust landscape of great organizations like Open Hand Atlanta, the Atlanta Community Food Bank, our great food pantries around the state, church pantries around the state who play a really big role in addressing food insecurity. What we do, and this is unique, we double the value of those old food stamps, what we now call SNAP benefits, for Georgians at about 80 markets in every major city in the state of Georgia. Secondary cities like where you and I are from, down in South Georgia, like Albany, Brunswick, and then even smaller towns. You know, I always loved Tifton because Tifton had a mall. We didn't have a mall down in Moultrie. So it's a big
the
deal to
mall
go.
has been
Exactly. It's a
great.
big deal. It's a big deal to go to the mall in Tifton, but also small towns like Ringo and Rockmart, Georgia. So we're in every corner of the state, rural and urban. And again, we're doing our part to make fresh, healthy, locally grown produce available and affordable for all Georgians.
So the Fresh for Less program, they take, correct me if I'm wrong, the SNAP benefits or the food stamp, as we've traditionally known it, benefits. And essentially, they're able to purchase, a person who receives the benefits is able to go to one of the farmers markets that supports this program or other the food pantries. And essentially, if it's $1 worth of product, they get it for 50 cents or $2 worth,
Oh,
essentially.
that's exactly
And
right.
then the way you help the farmer is the farmer is not receiving less payment for the money. They're still getting their pay. We're just increasing the benefit to the recipient. Is that correct?
You've got it. You've got it. You explained it. I mean, you described it really well. So we say it's a win-win-win.
Yes,
A
it is a
win for
trust.
the farmer because farmer gets 100% of price. Win for what we call our neighbors, families using the old food stamp program. They get fresh, healthy fruits and vegetables, 50% off. And then it's also a win for communities. And the bigger win for communities is greater health benefits, a sense of community by shopping at your local farm stand, farmer's market, brick and mortar retailer, or going to a mobile market, which for some parts of our state, transportation is a larger issue. And so for us, we are helping families, we're helping farmers, and we're also helping communities rested in and centered upon what we call the container of fresh, healthy, locally grown produce. That's what we do.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, I can see the community one because being a farmer's market shopper myself, it's an event. It's
That's
a
right.
Saturday or a Sunday morning event. You're prepared. You're going to see your neighbors.
Yeah.
You're going to run into someone with their dog or their kids. There are always other people in the community that you're going to get a cup of coffee perhaps and sit down. You're going to talk to the farmer. You're going to ask
Right.
them about something you're seeing growing in your yard and what do you do and the exchange of ideas. it really is a special system. So, um, I love the SNAP connection benefit that you guys are offering and the food for health program. So you're talking about health, creating healthy people. I'm curious about that one. Do you have partner doctors?
So our Wholesome Wave Georgia Fresh for Less program, that's our food insecurity work centered on the old food stamp program. Our Wholesome Wave Georgia Food is Medicine program is the Wholesome Wave Georgia Food for Health programming that we do.
Okay.
So there, we're working with a healthcare provider, could be a clinician, could be a physician, could be a nurse practitioner, but we're working with that healthcare provider to essentially use exercise, which is very important, medication, a very important pillar of health, but then also introducing food. About 80% of our health impacted by things that don't go on in the hospital. It's lifestyle related.
Mhm.
So food, as you said, we all have to eat. It's a really, really big component of health, one of those social determinants of health. So with the Wholesome Wave Georgia Food for Health program, our food is medicine work, we are partnering with the healthcare provider, connecting people who are food insecure,
Mhm.
food insecure, and also suffering from a diet related illness with a produce prescription. And that produce prescription is available not only to Will, the participant, but all the members in Will's family. Because
Oh,
one of the things that we've learned from doing this work since 2009 is that when you change the habits of a family, you change the trajectory of the future for that family.
generationally, yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. Generational impact. So with our food for health / food is medicine work, we're working in community, working with providers, working through our community partners on the ground in Athens, in Augusta, in Columbus, and soon to be in Douglasville to really create a model where behavior change, greater health outcomes, food is a key portion of that. And we're happy to do our part.
When I was noodling and doing my research, you guys have a video on your website about one of
Mhm.
the women who is a recipient, or her family, technically a
Mhm.
recipient of the benefit. And after 2 sessions, she said, when I believe one session is 6 months,
Right.
1 year change in her diet, along with her lifestyle changes, she actually was able to get off of her blood pressure medicine. Now, she's had her doctor monitoring it.
Sure.
And, they reduced it that first 6 months, they said. And then I think, yeah, the second 6 months, it said she was off of it. And I thought, this is amazing, amazing work. I used to work with another nonprofit, and they had a program called Fit as a Fiddle for senior citizens. And the whole thing was revolved around exercise. And I love adding the food component to it because I'll tell you a little secret. My very first personal trainer, she got to a point, she goes, Pam, honey, I've done all I can do because you really can't outrun a bad diet. And I looked at her and I said, what do you mean? And she said, you're exercising, but if you don't change your diet, it's not going to matter. And it
Wow.
was incorporating more fruits and vegetables. Like most Americans, ate a lot of packaged food. I've since shifted my diet. It's close to my heart that you guys are offering this benefit
Thank you.
specifically around giving tools to a healthcare provider to say, we think it's important enough. We're going to prescribe for you to go get produce.
You're right. And we are proud to partner with great organizations like Wellstar Health System to do this work. Proud to partner with St. Mary's in Athens, Georgia to do this work. The Harrisburg Clinic there in Columbus, I'm sorry, in Augusta, and then also Valley Healthcare in Columbus, which is a federally qualified health center to do this work as well. But you're right. Food, education around food. Listen, all of us make bad food choices. And there's nothing wrong with French fries. There's nothing wrong with that great piece of cake. But when we start to have that subject matter every day at every meal,
Mhm.
we start to see some of the negative effects. We also
Mhm.
provide cooking education in that class. We also provide what we call a peer champion, Pam. And so that's an individual who's completed the class, who serves as a coach, a mentor through to families and participants going through the program. You're right, it is 6 months, can be as long as 8 months. And we're really proud to do that work. So to get into the program, we get this a lot. You have to be food insecure,
Hmm.
have to have a diet related illness like hypertension or high blood pressure, obesity, diabetes, anything that deals with diet. Those are the health outcomes that we're working to correct.
Do you have an estimate of how many people are in the Food for Health program in the state of Georgia?
We have 4 active sites right now, 2 in
Hmm.
Athens, 1 in Augusta, and 1 in Columbus. And right now we have an enrollment of north of 300 families who are
Oh,
participating in that program. So within 1 calendar year, we're really excited to do that work. I'm really pleased to share that we're partnering with the Georgia Department of Public Health as well. So we'll be bringing this program down to where you and I are from, Albany, Georgia, later this year. So it's a really exciting time for us and other actors in the space as well.
and you know what happens? We know this. People will go to their normal grocery store and see their friend, and they're going to be talking about the program.
Right.
They're going to go to church on Sunday, and someone's going to see that they're looking a little slimmer, and they're going to comment on it. They're going to go to the bank, and someone's going to say something, and then they start talking about it, and then the word gets out. So you're not only impacting the one family, which is huge, but then it trickles out at large, because it will be a difference. You're going to notice a difference in their skin. They're going to notice. The doctors and the nurses are going to see it. They're going to brag about it. It extends the wins. It's more than a triple win.
You're right. And extending the win and a key aspect of this, and you know this from your business, word of mouth. I mean, when someone you know, someone you trust says, hey, this is working, or hey, you're looking really good today, it gives you that extra push to continue doing the good things that we're doing. So whether it's walking, jogging, not having so much French fries, I do love French fries. Um,
They can
but
run to go get the French fries.
oh,
And it's right
especially
there.
especially the waffle fry. I think that's my favorite, man. But no, you're when you receive that positive feedback, and that's one of the things that we're really proud of. The food is medicine program at any site looks different. It doesn't look the same because sites, communities determine what works well for them. So one of the founding principles of Wholesome Wave Georgia, and if you visit any one of our partners, you won't see a Wholesome Wave Georgia logo. You might not even see a Wholesome Wave Georgia team member at any of those sites around the state. We're what's called a backbone organization. We're behind the scenes. So
Mhm.
here in Atlanta, for instance, we have 19 community partners. That's 17 farmers markets, 2 farm stands, and 1 brick and mortar retailer. So when you go to Grant Park, you probably won't see anyone from Wholesome Wave Georgia there, but we support the great activity that goes on at Grant Park Farmers Market. East Atlanta Village Farmers Market, we support the great activity that goes on there to extend fresh, healthy fruits and vegetables to neighbors. So we're really proud to do this work. I could talk about Wholesome Wave Georgia all day.
What can you tell me are some of the biggest challenges that you face at Wholesome Wave, Georgia?
One of the biggest challenges we face, Pam, is lack of transportation. So we've done a lot of work in our strategic planning process, current and former, to identify where the need is and where our community partners are. And what we've learned is that as great as our community partners are, many of them are not located in so-called food deserts.
Mhm.
And so the challenge with people who live in food deserts is, guess what? Everyone knows you're not supposed to eat packaged food.
That's
Everyone
what's
knows that.
available.
Absolutely. It's
Mm.
available. It's got a long shelf life. The price point, thanks to market efficiencies, is at the right level. So you can get bang for your buck and also have some money left over in your pocketbook and your wallet. But the access to fresh, healthy, locally grown food is not there. So it's been a challenge for us to
Mhm.
get someone to get in a car or get a ride from someone to visit some of our great community partners like Peachtree Road, like Freedom Farmers Market here in Atlanta. So access to transportation continues to be our biggest challenge in our work.
What paths or programs are you exploring to help solve that problem?
Yeah, so we were fortunate late last year to receive an investment from Invest Atlanta to operate what we're calling the Atlanta Farm Fresh Markets with our partner Rataza. Rataza is a newer company coming out of Atlanta Tech Village. You saw that food is really an area where we weren't probably as savvy as we could have been, and applying technology to do logistics, procurement, and then actually marketing. We love working with the Rataza team. So they're helping us to actually go into food deserts and operate a pop-up farmers market. With our
Wonderful.
partnership with Invest Atlanta, we're super proud of this. We'll be able to operate 2 pop-up farmers markets in food deserts across the city of Atlanta. Also, MARTA deserves a lot of credit. MARTA was early to this with the MARTA markets, and those were pop-up farmers markets at MARTA stations. And many of those MARTA stations were located south of I-20 or adjacent to I-20. So when you look at kind of metro Atlanta, I think what makes this region special in the world is that you see a combination of public sector, private sector interests like yourself, and then also the nonprofit sector coming together to solve really, really big problems. And I think that makes Atlanta really unique.
Because we know the community likes to come in and make a difference, what can members of the community do to contribute or ways that we can help make a difference with your partners that you partner with? So maybe with Wholesome Wave Georgia or with some of your strategic partners in their community.
I think the thing to do, and you've already done it, is to help us get the word out. Wholesome Wave Georgia has been around since 2009, but we're not as well known as we would like to be, partly because we're that backbone organization
Mhm.
behind the scenes. I think an easy ask for anyone is just to go to our website. You spent some time there. We did a major rehaul of it probably a couple of years ago, led by our teammate Anna Marie Robb. She and her team did a fantastic job on that. And our easy ask for anyone is just to go sign up for our newsletter. You're doing a great job highlighting stories. We try to have stories of impact from around the state, rural and urban, of how these amazing community leaders in Savannah, in Brunswick, in Ringo, all over the state, Columbus, are really making a difference there in their community. Warner Robins, Macon, just some amazing leaders saying that we are going to act now. And so we're happy to do our part to play a role in making fresh, healthy, locally grown fruits and vegetables available and affordable for all Georgians.
Speaking of those stories, I mean, you've been around this environment for a while. Is there a
Mhm.
particular story that has impacted you or that stands out that you would like to share?
There is, and I'll be sure because I didn't talk about this program. We also have the Wholesome Wave Georgia Snap Connection program, and that program helps Georgians and community partners um, through the screening process for benefits like WIC, SNAP, and then also the Medicaid program here within the state of Georgia. So very early on in my tenure, pre-pandemic, there was a gentleman, and we're not allowed to use names, but he came into our office, and I was out in the common area back when we used to go to offices, and he said to me, "My friend told me that you could help me." And that warmed my heart because we have a great team in Wholesome Wave, Georgia. At the end of this month, just hearing someone else who interacted with teammates say or inspire someone else to say, you know what, they're doing it right over there. Go see them. They can help you with this problem. That to me is really the work that we do and is a story that will live with me for a very long time.
Hearing that story and how impactful it was for one person to come in and say that you made a difference. It's huge. And it reminds me of a quote from Dalai Lama. I hope I don't mess it up. If you think one small person can't make a difference, you've never slept with a mosquito.
Oh, yeah,
You
I
don't have to
totally
be
agree.
really big to make a difference. If you've ever slept with a mosquito, you know.
And you and I are from South Georgia, so we know mosquitoes and gnats well.
So tell me, are there any upcoming projects or programs that you are particularly excited about?
One of the things that we've learned, and I'd love for you to join us at our next event, we launched a program a couple of years ago now called Southern Sips. And Southern Sips is a really small gathering. We're fortunate to be supported by a lot of our small independent restaurants here, like Deer and the Dove, Southern National, Maypole. I mean, the list goes on and on, Georgia Boy and others. And so we will be hosting mini cocktail hours for folks
Mhm.
to come get to know us. We're proud to feature Cat Head products, Montaigne sparkling water products at those
Mhm.
cocktail hours for those of us who choose not to drink. We found a really relaxed way for folks to get to know Wholesome Wave Georgia. There's no ask there, which is great. So it's just for people to come. Usually a friend brings someone, again, that word of mouth, and we're able to share who we are, what we do, and how we're making a difference here within the state of Georgia. We did our first Southern Sips last year outside of Metro Atlanta down in Athens, a community that we love dearly. So stay tuned, more to come. But Southern Sips for us is a really accessible community building event. And then we also have our annual fundraiser, Southern Chefs Potluck. That will be on October the 5th of this
Okay.
year down at Serenity. And that's just another great opportunity to have some amazing, wonderful cocktails and be with people who care about fresh, healthy, locally grown food.
Love it. If someone is a SNAP benefit recipient
Yes.
and they're watching or listening to this, how can they find where they can go?
WholesomeWaveGeorgia.org has a lot of
Or .org, rather.
information. No, it's okay.
Yeah.
All that information is free. There's also a great team. So we've got Aubrey there. We've got Maria there. We just welcomed a new teammate this week, Siren Reynolds, who has a history of really community support. So they can go. We're here to help. That service is free. We're proud to partner with the state of Georgia to do that work. And we can do everything except approve. Only the state of Georgia can approve, Cam, but we can go in and check on status. We can help someone submit their case or make their claim for government benefits. So that program is a program that gives us a lot of help, a lot of support. Last year, we helped over 1,900 families in the government benefit screening process. And we've seen that number go up since the pandemic. And we've also seen that number go up due to this historic high inflation that all of us are feeling.
How many families are you guys serving right now in Georgia? Do we have an idea of the overall number of families?
This is where the data and just policy rationale around data makes it really difficult. Our largest program, our food insecurity work, is the Wholesome Wave Georgia Fresh for Less program. And there, Pam, we can only give transaction data. We can't give number of households served. We can give number of households served in our SNAP connection work, and then
Yes.
also our food as medicine work. But I'll give you just an idea of the number of transactions. In 2024, there were over 21,000 transactions within the Wholesome Wave Georgia network. In terms of direct investment, this is something we do track. Over $367,000 in direct investment in communities across the state of Georgia. From 2019 to 2024, over $1.7 million in direct investment across the state.
That's
And that money,
significant.
again, it is, and it goes directly to our small independent farmers. So
Mhm.
this is an economic development organization. This is a health organization, and it's also a community building organization as well.
Yes. So the direct investment, I know you have private and public
Yep.
funds, right? It's not all grant money. And you have varied sources. So if one goes down, you don't get the same grant or the same amount, you have other sources.
That's right. You've got it.
Being on nonprofit boards myself, I know that the funding is critical to be able to continue to provide services. And you really want to have your eggs in multiple baskets, to use our food analogy.
We're rolling with food analogy from waffle fries to eggs and baskets. For us, one of the things that brings us a lot of comfort is that this is a nonpartisan issue. So we can look across the political spectrum and we have representation.
That's right.
Folks who care about food, who care about their neighbors. We're thankful that in this work that we've been doing for almost 20 years now, we can look to larger funders like the USDA for our SNAP, our food insecurity work. We can also look to companies like Verizon, who really gets it when it comes to food insecurity. And then we also look to individuals like you and I who give us anywhere from $5 a month to $250 a month, just because this is something that speaks to them and they want to share a little more with their neighbors. So we will continue to do this work. We're always looking at the horizon to figure out how we can do it better, but we're really excited about the next 10 to 20 years of Wholesome Bank Georgia.
Well, I'm going to end with that last question here. So, 5 years, what is your 5 or 10 year vision? Where do you guys see it heading and expanding?
Absolutely. We want to be a true statewide organization. And to be a true statewide organization, again, you and I are from South Georgia, below the net line. Everyone can't work and live in Atlanta.
Right.
So about 2 years ago, we started very deliberately hiring teammates. That's what we call employees who work here at Wholesome in Georgia outside of Metro Atlanta. So we are bringing on another teammate in the Athens area. Really excited about that. And then we're targeting areas like Columbus, Augusta, and Savannah as well to really have dots on the map where our larger market partners are, our larger community partners are, so that we can really be a true statewide organization, the work that we do.
Well, I appreciate the work you do.
Thank you.
And I'm going to wrap it up by putting a call out to everyone watching or listening. If you know anyone who is using the SNAP program or who is signing up for the SNAP program, tell them about Wholesome Wave Georgia. If they are challenged with a car, offer to give them a ride. Go to the farmer's market together. If you know of neighbors in your community, carpool to the farmer's markets together. So that's how I would like to leave for everyone. Is there anything you would like to ask people?
No, I would say that you summed it up really well. We believe that kindness is a force multiplier for good, and we all have the ability to be forces for good. So whether it's volunteering for an organization that we care about, sharing some of our prosperity with organizations that we care about, or just listening and reading and sharing more about something that's important to you. The thing that I think makes American society really unique is our robust nonprofit community. And there's so many great organizations across the state, across this country. So we're all doing our part to create the America and definitely the state of Georgia we all want to live in.
Well, thank you, Will, for doing your part and for agreeing to be on our Coffee Connection show.
The first one. I'm
The
excited.
first one.
Excellent.
Thank you, Will.
Pam, thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.